Imagine going to bed at night feeling completely normal, healthy, and safe. And without knowing it, that night quietly becoming the last night of your life. No pain, no warning, no struggle, just sleep and silence. This is not a movie scene or a dramatic story meant to scare you. This is real life. And this exact situation is happening to thousands of people every single year, often without any prior symptoms. One of those cases was a patient of mine, and what happened to him changed the way I look at sleep forever. He was 68 years old, active, disciplined, and proud of the life he had built. A grandfather of 5 wonderful grandchildren. He walked daily. He followed medical advice. His blood tests looked acceptable. From the outside, he seemed like someone doing everything right. That night, he kissed his wife goodnight, went to bed as usual, and never woke up again. In the early hours of the morning, while sleeping peacefully, he suffered a massive heart attack. His wife found him in the morning lying quietly, his face calm as if he were simply resting. When she called me later that day, completely shattered, she kept repeating one sentence through tears. "Doctor, I don't understand. He took such good care of himself. How could this happen?" And that question is exactly why this video is so important. Because the answer is something millions of people ignore every night. The autopsy confirmed an acute myocardial infarction. But the true trigger, the silent enemy that had been attacking him for years, was undiagnosed obstructive sleep apnea, severely worsened by the position he slept in every night, a condition that silently suffocates the body while the person remains completely unaware. Many people believe that snoring is harmless, just an annoyance, something their partner complains about. But loud snoring followed by sudden pauses, silence, and then gasping for air is not normal. It is your body fighting for oxygen. It is a warning sign that your airway is collapsing repeatedly during sleep. Imagine this clearly. While you are asleep, your throat muscles relax. In some people, they relax too much. The airway closes completely. Air cannot reach the lungs. Oxygen levels drop dangerously. Your brain senses an emergency and releases stress hormones like adrenaline. Your heart suddenly has to beat faster and harder, as if you were running for your life. Then your body jolts you awake just enough to reopen the airway. You gasp for air, and you fall back asleep without remembering anything. This can happen dozens or even hundreds of times every single night. Each episode causes a spike in blood pressure. Each episode stresses the heart. Each episode damages blood vessels. Over time, this repeated nighttime stress weakens the heart muscle, stiffens arteries, and dramatically increases the risk of fatal arrhythmias, heart attacks, and strokes. Studies show that untreated severe sleep apnea can triple the risk of stroke. Most people who suffer a stroke had undiagnosed sleep apnea beforehand. Sleeping on your back makes this much worse. Gravity pulls the tongue and soft tissues backward, collapsing the airway even more. That is exactly what happened to my patient. He slept on his back for years, completely unaware of the danger. The second deadly mistake many people make is relying on sleeping pills without understanding the real cause of their insomnia. Sleeping pills do not fix sleep apnea. In fact, they make it worse. They relax the throat muscles even more and suppress the brain's ability to wake you up when oxygen drops too low. That micro-awakening that feels annoying is often the only thing preventing suffocation. When you suppress it with medication, breathing pauses become longer, deeper, and more dangerous. Long-term use of sedatives also increases the risk of falls, fractures, confusion, and memory problems, especially in older adults. Mixing sleeping pills with alcohol is extremely dangerous. This combination suppresses breathing, worsens apnea, and greatly increases the risk of fatal accidents at night. Sleeping medication should never be a long-term solution without medical supervision and without ruling out sleep apnea first. The third silent mistake is sleeping in a hot, poorly ventilated room. To enter deep restorative sleep, Your body needs to cool down slightly. A hot bedroom forces your heart to work harder all night, keeps heart rate elevated, fragments sleep, and worsens snoring and apnea. The ideal sleeping temperature is between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not comfort. This is cardiovascular protection. Cooling your bedroom, using breathable bedding, proper ventilation, and avoiding heat-producing screens before bed can significantly reduce nighttime stress on the heart. The fourth mistake is eating heavy meals late at night. When you eat a large dinner and lie down shortly after, your digestive system demands a large amount of blood flow. Your heart remains in active mode when it should be resting. Blood pressure stays elevated, acid reflux worsens, sleep becomes shallow and fragmented. The heart never fully recovers. The simple rule is this: finish your last heavy meal at least 3 hours before bedtime. Late hunger should be handled with light, simple foods only. And now the most dangerous habit of all, the one that amplifies every other mistake: chronic sleep deprivation. Sleeping less than 6 hours regularly increases cardiovascular death risk by nearly 50%. Sleep is not wasted time. It is essential biological maintenance. During sleep, blood pressure drops, inflammation decreases, blood vessels repair, and the brain clears toxic waste. Skipping sleep is like running a machine without ever servicing it. Eventually it fails. Weekend catch-up sleep does not repair sleep debt. Consistency matters more than anything. Regular sleep and wake times, morning sunlight exposure, and protecting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night are critical for long-term heart and brain health. You do not need to change everything at once. Start with one adjustment tonight. Sleep on your side, cool your room, eat earlier, question sleeping pills, go to bed earlier. Small changes save lives. If this message helped you, share it with someone you love, because this information does not just educate, it prevents tragedies. Sleep safely. Protect your heart. If you've stayed with me until this point, I want you to understand something very important. The goal of this video is not to scare you. Fear alone changes nothing. Awareness does. What truly saves lives is understanding exactly what is happening inside your body at night and knowing how to intervene in time, before damage becomes irreversible. One of the biggest lies many people believe is that if something were truly dangerous, they would feel it immediately. But the human body is incredibly good at compensating, until it suddenly can't anymore. Sleep-related damage does not announce itself with pain. It builds quietly, night after night, year after year, until one night the system finally collapses. Let's talk about how these nighttime habits slowly weaken the heart without you noticing. When sleep is constantly fragmented by apnea, heat, digestion, or short sleep duration, your nervous system never truly switches into recovery mode. The sympathetic nervous system, the same system responsible for fight or flight, remains partially activated all night long. This keeps your heart rate elevated, your blood vessels tense, and your blood pressure higher than it should be for many extra hours every day. Over time, this leads to something we see very often in cardiology: blood pressure that refuses to come down despite multiple medications. Many patients come to us confused and frustrated, not understanding why their numbers stay high even when they do everything right. In reality, their bodies never get the nighttime reset they desperately need. Sleep is when blood pressure should naturally drop. When it doesn't, the heart never rests. Another silent consequence is chronic inflammation. Poor sleep increases inflammatory markers in the blood, which directly accelerate plaque buildup inside arteries. These plaques don't cause symptoms until one day they rupture, forming a clot that blocks blood flow to the heart or brain. That is how heart attacks and strokes often happen suddenly without warning. Sleep deprivation also disrupts blood sugar control. Even people who eat reasonably well can develop insulin resistance simply from poor sleep. Over time, this progresses toward prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, conditions that multiply cardiovascular risk. The body becomes metabolically confused, storing more fat, especially around the abdomen, which further worsens sleep apnea and creates a dangerous cycle. Let's also talk about something many people underestimate: irregular sleep schedules. Going to bed at different times every night, sleeping short during the week and long on weekends, confuses your internal clock. Your heart, brain, hormones, and metabolism depend on predictability. Chaos in sleep timing creates chaos in physiology. One of the simplest but most powerful interventions is morning sunlight. Exposure to natural light within the first hour of waking sends a strong signal to your brain that sets your circadian rhythm. This makes falling asleep at night easier and improves sleep depth without medication. Even 10 to 15 minutes outside can make a measurable difference. Now let me be very clear about something important. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. Trying to fix everything at once often leads to failure. Instead, choose one change that feels realistic and start there. Consistency beats intensity every time. If you snore loudly or feel excessively sleepy during the day, prioritize getting evaluated for sleep apnea. Simply changing sleep position or treating apnea can dramatically reduce cardiovascular risk. I have seen patients reverse years of fatigue and uncontrolled blood pressure just by restoring proper breathing at night. If your room is hot, make cooling your environment a priority. A cooler bedroom is not a luxury, it is a medical intervention. If you eat late, move your dinner earlier by even 1 hour and reduce portion size. If you sleep too little, protect your bedtime as seriously as you protect your work schedule. Your heart does not fail overnight. It fails after years of being denied rest. Sleep is not optional recovery. It is essential survival maintenance. I want you to reflect on this tonight as you prepare for bed. Ask yourself a simple question: am I helping my heart recover, or am I quietly exhausting it while I sleep? The good news is that tonight is not like last night. Tonight, you know more. Tonight, you have control. And that knowledge applied consistently can add years of healthy life. If you found this information valuable, share it with someone you care about. Many people don't realize they are at risk until it's too late. This conversation can change that. Take care of yourself. Sleep with intention. Protect your heart.